Hi, and welcome to Vapingbro's YouTube channel. I'm Joe, and today we're going to be taking a look at Kangertech's Kbox 200 versus Joyetech's CUBOID 150. Now, don't let the 150 fool you. They've already done a firmware upgrade out there that you can do with both Mac and PC to make the chip a 200-watt device. Okay, so the reason for this video today is not to get too much into technical aspects of the mods. There's really good reviews already out there. Suck My Mod has a good review on the CUBOID. Vapor Trail channel has a good one on the Kbox 200. I even have a first look review on this guy out there as well. So there's plenty of reviews already out there if you want to get into the technical aspects of it. This video is simply for those who are out there that are on the fence between the two mods, because I have a feeling that this level of mod is going to be a very hot point for people. So I'm hoping that this will help people decide which way to go or not. I just want to give you my impressions on vaping on them, using them for the last few weeks, and then you can decide thereafter, of course. Okay, so let's have a first look at let's talk about these two guys. So I got both of them here. The reason why I don't have a tank on the CUBOID is simple because I'm going to be using this stainless steel Triton coil in this Atlantis version 2 to demonstrate the temperature control functionalities on it. But both of these mods are dual 18650s. Both have temperature control in three different modes: the stainless steel, the nickel, and the titanium. The Kbox 200 has one up on the CUBOID simply by having the temperature control for nichrome. So that's one kind of positive for the Kbox 200. Also, they are relatively in the same price category. They're both around 45 pounds here in the UK. I'm not exactly sure how much they're going for in the States or the rest of the world for that regards. And they also both, of course, now with the new firmware upgrade, as mentioned before, they both are 200-watt mods, okay? So, of course, that 200-watt mods is a very small window, but they still capable of doing 200-watt capabilities, sorry. So, now let's take a look at the Kbox first. As we've already seen, dual 18650, not a magnetic door, a pressure slide door with rivets cut out to lock it in. Absolutely no rattle in that. I'm putting it right up to this very sensitive microphone. You can't hear nothing there. Now, the CUBOID has a battery hatch door here, as you can see. Let me pop that open, which is good. As you can see, it's hard to get open, which is not difficult, but you don't want to just pop open on you. But there you go. It's a shotgun style battery loading with a nice door there that clicks in. That just makes sure that pit is up there for you. Also, here we go. Now, I watched the reviews on the CUBOID by Suck My Mod and also the Vapor Chronicles out there, and both were like, oh, no rattle at all. This is my kind of one and only gripe with this mod is the button rattle for the fire button. Check this out. Easy to hear. Here, I'll just slide my thumb across it. That's just me sliding my thumb across it. You can hear that. I know you can hear it. I'm actually very disappointed in that aspect. That's the only aspect of this mod that I'm disappointed in. At 45 quid, is it still worth it to me? Yes. Yes, it is. Plain and simple. It's probably one of the best mods that I've used in a very long time, if not the best mod. The chip in it is fantastic, so on and so forth. Highly recommend that guy. I also recommend the Kbox, but it's slightly different. To me, there's a few issues I've had with this guy over the course of using it. First, let's go through it. Okay, so let's look at the depth. So this depth right here is actually, if I bring up the iStick 100 watt so that you can see it, it's ever so slightly deeper up here, sorry, right here. Than the 100 watt mod box by eLeaf there. So for me, it's just slightly ever so, not uncomfortable, but doesn't really work in my hand. I like a more stealthy kind of mod. So again, the Cuboid works very well for that regards. It's much smaller, well, not much smaller, but less. It's not as deep as the Kbox. The Kbox has plenty of venting holes. The Cuboid has very little. I haven't really noticed much heating up on it. Only when I'm sitting there chain vaping does it do that. But let's get back to the Kbox. Another thing that kind of bothered me about this mod was the temperature protect capabilities of it, or the temperature control facilities, I should say. And that's, so here we go. I got it in stainless steel, running at 420. You might not be able to see that, but I'm just gonna hit the fire button, and at no point does that wattage stop, or does it go into any type of temperature protection mode. Still going, still going. Not very good. Don't want to breathe on that, but there we go. Also, here, and now that I'm going to let that cool down, and I'm going to continue to talk about this. I'll unscrew that while I'm doing that, so I can show you on the Cuboid the temperature protection mode. So also another thing that bothered me about this is the 3-click facility of changing out, and it's not that it's bad. So I'll do this, so you can see up here in the corner right there. That's where you're going to see it changing out. I'm sorry, my camera's not going to be in focus there. So 1, 2, 3. No, didn't do it. 1, 2, 3. Into power mode. 1, 2, 3. Again, you've probably seen these in the review videos all the time. And why I'm showing you this is I'm not the most cautious when I go to turn it off. I'm out at work and I'm having a vape. I go back in and I'm at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and all of a sudden it's in a totally different mode than what I had it in before. And since I'm conscious that this device does that, I'm looking down and going, okay, what is it in? 1, 2, 3. Then I got to scroll all the way back through to get to all of them, and having 5 different settings, it can be quite tedious, so to say. And in that regards, it's annoying. It's not that it doesn't work well, but it is just quite tedious. It's happened to me more times than it's not, if that makes sense. Okay, and another thing that kind of bothers me about this, and it could simply be me, because I don't finger trigger for the fire button. I don't do that. That's not the style of mod. That's not the style of vaping I do. I do it with my thumb, and this button is so small that my thumb gets lost when I go to press it. Like it just gets lost. It can't find it. I have to be conscious of it, and being an ex-smoker of 21 years, the last thing you kind of want to do when you're just hanging out, having a beer with your friends, or just being social, is being conscious. Okay, where's that button? It breaks your train of thought. Just like when you used to smoke cigarettes, you weren't conscious of it. So again, it's just kind of an annoying factor for me. The small buttons down here don't really bother me that much. Those, because you have to pay attention when you're using that. So those don't bother me. It's really the small fire button that bothers me. And that's about it, really. Other than that, it's a fantastic little mod. You can see that I got some marking on the top there. That's because the tanks lay flush right against the device. There's no raised 510 there. It's all recessed. So every tank that I have lays very flush with that, which is also a positive. There's no gap, so I'll just screw that back on really quick so you can see that. And all the tanks and RDAs that I have then sit flush. There's no gap in there right there. So, okay, so let's go to the Cuboid now really quick. Here we go. I should already be in temperature mode. Oh, the last thing about the Kbox that I want to mention is when you put on a new coil or a different tank, this rarely asks me for if it's a new coil or not, which it should. It's part of the design of the chip. It should ask me, is that a new coil? and it rarely does that. I have to unscrew the tank, push the fire button to reset it, screw the tank back on, push the fire button, and it may say, is that a new coil or not? Most times out of not, it does not do that. So a bit flawed. And I got a feeling that the 3-button click and also the new asking for a new coil could be an upgrade in an upgrade firmware when they finally do bring out one. And it's a pretty new mod, so I'm not upset by any means that they haven't brought out a firmware update, but I could see that hopefully they see videos like this and say, oh, okay, let's put that in the firmware update, because that would make that a pretty sweet little mod in my book. Again, maybe not the best for my hands and how I like to hold my mods in the depth wise, but again, a nice stealthy little mod. So there's nothing really that wrong with it. No rattle, as you can hear, very solidly built. I think this is gonna last quite a long time. You know, besides the markings on the top, you know, but I was a bit worried about the paint job, but it really seems to be holding up quite well besides the markings. And that's gonna happen when something lays flush like that. So again, quite happy with that little mod. So now on to the CUBOID. The CUBOID has what I consider a better temperature protection mode. So check this out. Just like we did with the Kbox, I'm gonna press this. Here we go. Temperature protect. Temperature protect. The Kbox did not do that. Again, that could be an update for the firmware when they come out with that. Maybe I'm not understanding the Kbox, how it functions, but for me, it's just continually firing, and which for temperature control mode, it shouldn't be doing that at all. Okay. Also, another thing that the Kbox cannot do versus the Joyetech, as if you see here, right here, let's see if I can get that in focus for you. Right there, you'll see that little guy, I can adjust basically the power that goes into during temperature mode. I'm sorry, my camera's not focusing there. So this one starts off at 200 watts. That's what it comes out of the box with. I've adjusted that down in this stainless steel mode down to 100 watts. This fires at 200 watts all the time. Okay. Of course, it adjusts as it's needed, as this does, but this will only go up to 100 watts. And another thing that I notice about this one seems to vape at the same style at a lower temperature than the Kbox does. So this one was at 420. With that, at 370 at 100 watts, I'm getting the same type of vapes. Check this out. Nice warm vape, very, very nice. Fires just like that in both temperature modes, or in all 3 temperature modes and in power mode. The chip in this is fantastic. You can see the screen. You guys check out the proper reviews on this one. But to me right now, if I was to say, hey Joe, which one would you go with? You can only choose one or the other. I'm sorry, but I think I'd have to go with the CUBOID on that. That's me personally. I will say though, this screen right here, let me wipe that down for you. You may or may not be able to see that, but that is a scratch. No, you can't see that really, but that is a scratch magnet right there. I carry this a lot in my shoulder bag, in my messenger bag, in the bottle holder, and it's already got. Oh, there you go. That was kind of good angle there. You can kind of see the scratches on it, but when you light up the screen, it doesn't affect the view of the screen at all. So again, both mods are very good. This one is very nice, no rattles. I think the build quality of this is fantastic. I was a bit concerned about not having magnets on the battery door, but they did a real good job with this. Fantastic, no rattles at all. I really like that. The build quality of this, besides the rattle and the fire button, is fantastic. That here, just again, hear that out. That really bothers me. I know it's only a 45 pound here in the UK, mod, but it shouldn't do that. It just shouldn't do that. We've come so far, and yet they can't figure out the button. We spend our hard-earned money on this. That's not acceptable in my book. Would I buy the mod again? Probably, because it's really good, but that doesn't matter. You gotta get that button rattle out of there, okay? And that's Joe signing out here from Vapingbro. You guys remember, enjoy the vape, live long, have a good day, okay? I hope this helps if you guys are on the fence about this. Take care.